Welcome to Unit 17 of the TESOL course at Southern Utah University. In this video, we'll talk about curriculum design. We'll talk about the goals and why someone would seek out curriculum design for their TESOL program. And the other is we'll talk about the stages of curriculum design and how to go about accomplishing a curriculum project. There are many reasons to get into curriculum design, but the most common reason is to better align the outcomes of the course with the type of instruction that's happening and the type of assessment that's being used, and to make sure that those things match, that what we're doing in the classroom matches what the course is supposed to do, and that we're getting good assessment data to make sure that students are reaching that outcome. It also is useful to do curriculum design to make sure that the learning experience is best tailored to the students and the needs of the program or the school or the environment or maybe other stakeholders who care about what happens in that classroom. And so the idea here is we're trying to make sure that what we're doing with students is the most useful experience for them, not just in the classroom, but for what happens beyond the classroom as they complete the learning experience. When we do curriculum design, it's important to remember that the focus needs to be on improvement. Taking something that we have and making it better, instead of taking something we have and making it perfect. It's never going to be complete, but it's going to be this process that we can constantly revisit and make refinements and improvements and hopefully get closer to our ultimate ideal goal, but we won't get there right away. So the main stages of curriculum design often fall into these 4 or 5 stages. First, a needs analysis. Needs analysis means that we are trying to learn about what is needed for the learning situation. This involves identifying who are the learners, who cares about what the learners can do with the language, and then what is it the learners need to be able to do with the language at the completion of the experience. So we need to talk to stakeholders. Now, students are the most common stakeholder, but we should also talk to teachers. What's realistic for students in this program? Also talk to other stakeholders, for instance, the people maybe who are paying for the program, or the types of jobs that the students will go into when they complete the program, and getting information about what do learners need to know, what do learners know now, and what kinds of things can we do with learners to get them closer to that goal. Needs analysis can also involve taking a look at things like budget and the classroom and where we are and what can we realistically accomplish with the resources that we have. Once we've done that needs analysis and we've clearly identified what needs to be done in the learning situation or what we can realistically expect to do with the learning situation, then we can start the design and the development stages. And the design stage is more the planning. So we figure out here's the outcome. So how can we break that outcome into manageable, smaller tasks or lessons that reach across units over weeks or months or a year? And then we take a look at making sure that we have a clear outcome for each lesson, that each lesson has materials and activities that lead towards that outcome, and that we've designed assessments to help the teachers and students and other stakeholders know when students have accomplished the outcomes. So that's the design phase. In the development phase, then we start creating all those things. We create the lesson plans, we create the materials, the audio or video that needs to be done, any types of computer programs or assessment tools that we need. We build all of those things. Once we're done with design and development, we're ready for the implementation stage. And in the implementation stage, it's essentially we're going to test now and make sure things work. So we have a course with real students and real teachers. And we might not spread it out to the whole program yet. We might do one kind of test class. And this is where we try out the new curriculum. And we take good notes. We have already designed some good feedback channels where we get information from the stakeholders. And we're also collecting data from the class to find out what's working here, what's not working here. This can be really helpful to have teachers keep teaching journals where they can give us feedback on what worked and what didn't work, or do we need to rearrange some activities, or something we thought would work, maybe it's too hard or too easy for students, or the materials or the technology didn't work the way we expected it to. So gathering all that data is very important during the implementation phase. And it's not just evaluating the curriculum, but it's evaluating the delivery of the curriculum. Is this process, is this environment and situation working? Finally, we're ready for the evaluation stage. And in the evaluation stage, we're using all this data we collected from the implementation stage to find out what's working well, what's not working well. And this is where then we make a plan to make further improvements and refinements in the curriculum. But that evaluation stage is really important, and it's often forgotten during a curriculum design, because we work so hard to get it out there, and we just put it out there and we just want to let it be and just stop. But in reality, no matter how hard we worked on it, it's not going to be perfect. And sometimes we get the best information about how well a curriculum is during the implementation process. So if we're not collecting data during implementation and then evaluating that data to make further refinements and improvements, we're really missing out on an important part of the curriculum design process. Sometimes the curriculum design process is described as the Addie Model, so ADDIE. And if we look at this graphic here at the top, in that light blue we have Analyze, that's the A. Then we go down to DD, which is Design and Development, then I for Implementation, and E for Evaluation. And so here we can see it represented as a cycle, that we don't just stop once we've created the curriculum and we pass it off to teachers, but instead we're constantly evaluating and analyzing its effectiveness and then coming up with refinements through the design and development page so that we're constantly improving the implementation of the curriculum. Now, a program that is a short-term program that repeats itself every month or every 3 weeks, it has lots of opportunities to get through this cycle very quickly. If we're dealing with something that happens in a year-long program, it's going to take a lot longer to get through this cycle, but it's still important to repeat this cycle more than once so that we're able to take what we learned from the implementation and then redesign and improve the curriculum process. So we talked about why curriculum design is important. It really helps the program better match the learning situation to the learning outcomes and the skills and interests of the stakeholders, including students, teachers, and maybe parents or employers or government even. But in order to do effective curriculum design, we should probably be using the Addie cycle, which gives us time to learn about what we want to do, plan it, implement it, and then evaluate it. And if possible, repeat that process more than once so that we have a more robust curriculum.